Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Drunk with Phat. I am Phat Lamb. Friends call me Jen. And what I'm going to do is I am going to drink a little drink and then tell stories of true crime, paranormal, all of that fun stuff. So, first episode, let's go. Okay, so today we are going to talk about Peter Niers, who was a robber slash serial killer in 1500s, late 1500s, Germany. So, he would go on to kill, or at least confess to killing, 544 people, 20 of them being pregnant women. Remember that. So, he had a little crime mentor named Martin Stiers, who kind of just like showed him the ropes of everything. And he would take that and use that during his raids. So Peter Niers actually ended up becoming a main leader of a lot of the raids in Germany at that time. Well, at least in the little towns that he would go through. Some of them would be small. Some would be very, very large. They would meet up with other raiders, kind of just go through town, killing and robbing, all of that fun stuff. At one point, he would go and get arrested, and he would, at that particular time, confess to killing 75 people. That's it. Just 75. No big deal. We don't. 75? What's that? So, somehow, though, he would escape. It doesn't really go into depth as to how. It just says that he did somehow manage to do that. So, he continues. Just continues to raid, pillage, kill, and all of that fun stuff, because what else is there to do in late 1500s? I guess anywhere, really, not even just Germany, just everywhere. So yeah, he would continue to do that, and he would have like a slight following, and there were songs and pamphlets and warrants just kind of just posted everywhere that he has been, or places that he might have gone to, just in case like someone somewhere saw him. Now, it was said that he was, or at least appeared to be, an older man with a couple crooked fingers and a pretty gnarly scar on his chin. And that's also depicted like in the warrants that they had posted throughout the towns and throughout the country. During this time, there isn't a lot of documents about what had happened, like where he was, like day-to-day kind of life. Also, he was just on foot, kind of just going around. So, but during this time, there were stories made up of him that he was a shapeshifter, and that he had gotten that power from actually meeting up with the devil himself, who also gave him a monthly allowance. But it was rumored that he could turn into a stone or a log, or a goat, dog, or cat. Not sure where any of that came from. But it was kind of just, you know, when you hear, especially, I can only assume like during that time, that when a serial killer to that extreme, to that level, that they couldn't be human. Like, something definitely had to be wrong with that. Like, it wasn't, sorry, that was a total burp. I'm not even gonna lie. So yeah, obviously incapable of being human. So all of that. And then one day, Peter Niers goes to a town. I'm going to mess this up because it's German, but I tried to look it up. And for the English language, it looks like it would say like Newmarket or Newmarkt. But in German, I believe it's Naumarkt? Like it. Nope, I'm just going to mess that up. So we're just not going to do that. But anyways, so he goes to that town to rest, pretty much. He goes to an inn. He checks into the inn. The inn is named the Bells in English. At least that's what it is referred to. And he, after a few days there, decides he wants to go take a bath in the public bathhouse. So what he does is he gives his magical backpack to the innkeeper. Innkeeper takes it, doesn't look at it, whatever. So he goes to the bathhouse, minding his business, giving him a little rubby rub, just trying to get clean because he's disgusting, as I'm sure a lot of people were in that time. No baths, no, just like public plumbing system. So anyway, so he's there, and this person notices him. Notices him from the warrants that have been posted around town, throughout the countryside, everything like that. He's like, no. So he starts kind of like whispering and mumbling amongst the people that are around him, and it goes around pretty quickly. Peter Niers has no idea. He's completely oblivious to what is actually happening. So it's another burp. Completely oblivious. But the rumors or the whispers get around town, and 8 men come and get him from the bathhouse. And they kind of just like hold him until he gets like officially arrested, I guess. And this is where it gets, I don't want to say fun because that's sick. This is where it like gets interesting. So he's being held by 8 people, by 8 men, because of crimes that he committed. I mean, even at the original time that he got arrested, he was arrested and confessed of 75 murders. 75. Okay, well, now it is him confessing to 544 murders. Again, 20 of those being of pregnant women. Now, pregnant women part, the fetuses part. For the spells that he would do, because it was considered that he was a magician of black magic. For the spells that he would do, in one of the spells, it doesn't say which, like what it did. It just said that during the chant of said spell, he would need to eat the heart of a fetus. Logical. The second one, they would need to concoct a fetus flesh and fat candle and burn that whenever they were to break into someone's house, so that the person who lived there wouldn't wake up during the burglary. So those were like 2 things. And upon investigation in the bag that they had left with the innkeeper, they found severed hands, a heart, and fetal remains. So, you know, super casual, more black magic stuff. But apparently, according to him, that's why he was caught. It was because he left his magical bag, which gave him the invisibility, with the innkeeper, and he didn't have it on his person. And that's why he was caught, inevitably. So, Peter Niers was caught. 544 murders. What? I genuinely don't know, because they don't really explain if all 544 were of him singular doing it, or if, you know, like with his bandits, they had done that many murders. You know, they don't really go into clear detail. It was also 1500s. So, September 16th, 1581, they start the executions. Day 1. They cut flesh off of him. Just small segments. And then pour hot oil into the wounds. I guess like all day. I don't know if it was just like one or just like continuously kind of thing. Day 2 included them putting like heated oil on his feet and then putting his feet over hot coals, essentially toasting him. Again, don't know how long it lasted, just know that it happened. Thirdly, well, it was his last day, so they had used the wheel. The infamous wheel that was pretty much a favorite during that time. Now there were different uses of the wheel, and I did have to pretty much look into the way that they had used it, because the way that it was written, it just didn't make sense to me how they were using it. So for him, at least, it was pretty much him lying down, and they dropped the wheel on him, which had a metal outside and spikes on it. Dropped it on him 42 times. Well, he was still alive. So after the 42nd time, they then dismembered him. Because what else do you do? And that was it. That was the end of Peter Niers. And I'm sure that he had people, well, bandits, that he had worked with before that may have kept going with the whole raiding business, because again, what do you do in 1500s? Not saying that it's okay by any means, but 1581, I'm sure, was a definite time of power versus peasant, and majority being peasant, and it was just a lot of, you know, chaos. But also, how many people were like with black magic in Germany in 1581? But yeah. And so anyways, there's no date of birth for him, because he wasn't important enough to have a date of birth. He was also important enough to have a date of death. But, so with the 544 killings, this did go on for 15 years. Like, he did accumulate that number in a 15 years time span, which doesn't make it any more okay. But I was kind of trying to make it real in my head that how can someone kill that many people? That's just like a lot of people, you know, 544 people. I guess in 15 years it would make more sense, but still just like, yikes. Like, there was no care for human life. It was you against the world. But yeah, anyways, so that will conclude my first video. That was of serial killer Peter Niers in the late 1500s Germany. Thank you.